What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Today we got a little bit of a different one. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer, see if people want to join up. Hope everyone is having a fine day. If we get some people in here, I will explain my project, what I'm doing, what is going on with this project. And so I'm gonna start out with Java, of course, my main Java project. I might also go into some HTML and CSS stuff since I'm not as experienced at that. I just started learning it over break, but perhaps I will showcase some of the work I've done, so far and that sort of thing. So, yeah. 1 minute. All right. So I'm going to start off by explaining sort of what my project is, what I'm trying to accomplish with it. I should probably have a face cam for this stream. Oh, hey guys. Taking up the whole screen now. I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit so that you can see the code. I'll put myself in this corner today. Alright. Yes, coding stream, boys. Let's go! I've been wanting to do this for a little bit. Sort of put my ideas out there, to see if anyone has any, advice, improvements. Oh, geez, chat is very big today. Shrink it a little bit. Alright. So, this project that I'm working on is called Schedule Generator. And basically, it's just a Java app that you can put, in theory, it would be a website. But right now, it's just a Java app where you put in, so say, for example, you have a Little League baseball league in your town or something. You want to create a schedule for it. You have, say, 8 teams. And you want each of the teams to play 12 games or something. It doesn't necessarily matter who they're against or when they are. You can throw that information into my scheduler. An algorithm will run. It'll give you who each team is playing, what days, what times, etc., what field, if they're home teams, away teams, that sort of thing. So all that would be encompassed under one generator. And you could, every person that uses it can have their own, particular settings. So like obviously not all schedules are going to be created the same. So because every league is going to have different needs, different requirements. So I'm just sort of at the moment laying a base foundation for what my algorithm is going to look like, what like the most basic things should be. So I'll go through my code, try to give you a little bit of, background as to what I've done so far. If you want to take a look at my code yourself, you can look at my GitHub, github.com/fisherpit116. The code is there. It's under the schedule generator repository. It should be the most recent repository that I have, because that I've been frequently updating. I think I have my link down below to my GitHub. Not entirely sure. I'll check that after stream. But if it's not, I'll put that there. So we go through this league class that I have set up. So, of course, the most important things are the game count and team count. Game count is how many games each team is going to play during the season. Because most of the time when you make a schedule, you want to have each team play the same number of games. I may want to account for playing different games in the future, but for now, the most common scenario is you have a league and you want every team to get the same number of opportunities, same number of games, right? So you have the game count. Team count is how many teams are playing. Pretty self-explanatory there. I have an array list of team objects, team list, which is just basically all the teams. Right now, if you look at the team class, we go there. Should probably spread this out, be more organized. Just basically, this doesn't serve much of a purpose. It has, you can have your team name. I've also included a specific team schedules, and I have a method here, add to schedule, where basically when I create a game for the entire league, I'm gonna also put it into each, like a team specific class, if that makes any sense. Should also probably put that I'm coding Java in my title. Java coding stream. Oh. Alright. So this team class doesn't serve much purpose at the moment other than just sort of having a sort of object for a team. And also I have the team specific schedule. So in theory, in my head, the end result for this would be you can click on a link and it opens up a PDF file of any team schedule. Like you can print out the league schedule entirely or a specific team schedule. So having that array list of games in here makes it possible to have a specific team schedule. I could just parse through the array list of games that I have in league, which is the next thing, the league schedule, which encompasses every team, and see if one of the teams playing is the team that I want the schedule for. I could do that. That's an alternative. But for now, this is how I'm doing it. And then these are some, parameters that I've started to set up. Max duplicate games is the number of games maximum you could play against another team. So generally how leagues do it is you have, they say 8 teams, you want to play 12 games, you're not going to play another team more than twice. So I have that set up there so that you can set how many games maximum two teams can play each other. Max home games, max away games, again, most of the time, if you have home stadiums or home fields or whatever, you want to split your games in half. So you have 6 home games, 6 away games. That's usually how it works. If teams want to have different, or leagues want to have different parameters, they can put them in. And that's why I have those options. So at the moment I have 2 constructors. Can't exactly remember what the difference is. Oh, right. So this constructor is in the case where you don't care about duplicate games. Like, for example, Team 1 and Team 2 can be playing every single game the entire season. Like, you don't really care about that. You use this constructor. I'm going to use this constructor because obviously in the final project, or the final product, the person using the software isn't going to know what a constructor is. Like, they don't need to know that. So I'm going to use the constructor in the case, or the program is rather, in the case where you want to have a certain like duplicate number of games, you're going to use this constructor. So basically, these constructors just set up, base data for the parameters for teams. So I have a base team list of all the teams that are going to be in there, and then the team count is just going to always be the list size, the number of teams in the list. Game count, you can specify in this constructor. Again, max duplicate games, I already figured that out. League schedule set, we're going to discuss this in a minute because this is what's taking up most of my time. This is the algorithm, like the algorithm that is most important for my project, which is the whole reason why I'm doing it, to set up a schedule for a league and snap your fingers. So that right there, we're going to talk about in a minute. And then I have this Boolean EHAG, which is even home away games. Basically, if it's true, you're going to have the same number of home and away games. If it's false, you can have however many home games, however many away games. I tried implementing that yesterday. It wasn't quite working for me, so we're going to have to figure that out. That's the main thing that I'm going to work on this stream. Now, okay, we're going to get to this in a minute. In the game class, because you see here I have the league schedule, which is an array list of games. The game class is basically you have a game date, which is going to be represented by an integer between 0 and 365, which is obviously going to be for the dates of the year. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement that yet. That might be one of the last things I implement because it's not as important as, the schedule itself, but I'll get there. And then I'm going to, again, obviously, I want to print out a calendar date. The algorithm for that is not yet finalized. So we're going to figure that out later. So now I'm going to walk through my, oopsies. Okay. Now I'm going to walk through this monster. And it's not even close to being done yet. So one of these times where I'm coding, I'm going to want to condense this. I'm going to want to write specific methods for each parameter that I have for creating a game. So basically, we're going to go line by line. I start by creating an array list of games. Just empty array list. Then I take a schedule size for the total number of games that are going to be played in the entire league. So the algorithm, I looked at the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and I found a pattern. So you take the number of games that each team plays multiply the number of teams there are in the league, and divide the result by 2, and you get the total number of games that you play in a season, which makes sense, right? You get 2 teams per game. 2 teams per game, so one of the teams is going to be counted twice if you just multiply the number of games by the number of teams. So then you're going to divide it by 2. So I just sort of deduced that algorithm, or that, it's not really an algorithm, that formula myself. I have these two, it's game scheduled and game failure count, which are going to come into play later. I had this array of team game schedule, which is just basically keeping track of the number of games each team, I had already scheduled each team for, but I sort of condensed that in the form of this, which I will show you as I go through the algorithm. So here comes the massive while loop. The end bracket isn't even, it's all the way down here. So this is all one loop. So yeah, it's kind of chaotic. So we're gonna go through it. So the loop runs while game scheduled is less than schedule size, right here. So what this means is it basically runs where if I have a number of games I've already scheduled that's less than the games that I want to schedule, this loop is going to run again. If the schedule has the appropriate number of games, great, we can just send it. The algorithm's done. We can just return it, right? So there's an element of randomization here. So I was trying to figure out how am I going to do this, especially given the fact that teams can play pretty close like in pretty close proximity to like sometimes teams play 2 days apart or something like that. So, and it's not necessarily like you follow this orderly line where team 1 plays team 2, then team 3 plays team 4, then team 5 plays team 6. That doesn't happen. I have the schedule completely randomized. This is going to be like a generator where we're going to have it pretty much random. That being said, there are some parameters. So we'll get into those. So of course we have a home number and an away number. And these are just the team numbers. So every team in the code is sort of assigned a number based on their position in this team list, this array list of teams. And they're sort of assigned their position. So, and the first team on the list is 0, second team on the list was 1, etc. So I take math.random, if you didn't know, takes a random number between 0 and 0.99, a random double. So I take that, I multiply it by the total number of teams, and I cast it to an int. So what this does is it takes it from a random number between 0 and 0.99, repeating, turns it into a number between 0 and 0.99 repeating times the total number of teams, which is just under the total number of teams. And then I cast it to an int, which chops off whatever is after the decimal place. So then that gives me a random number between 0 and the number of teams minus 1. Which makes sense because 0, the distance between 0 and the number of teams minus 1 is the number of teams. So we have 2 of those teams. Now, these are the 2 numbers of the teams that are going to be playing in the matchup that I'm generating. So then I create a game object where this is, so the game constructor, if we go to that, we have parameters for a game date, which I haven't implemented as of yet, a home team, and an away team. So again, the home team, here in this league, going back to league, the home team, we're going to the team list, and we're getting the team at the home number that we randomly generated. And then the away team, we're getting the team from the away number that we randomly generated. So, all should be fine and dandy, right? We've created a game. You know, it's a matchup between 2 teams. Perfect. That's what we want. There are some issues that I saw and were not accounted for just by doing this. So these next couple of chunks of code account for those issues. So we've got this equal validity, this Boolean, okay, let me preface this by saying the issue. So let's say the 2 numbers are randomized and they're both team number 3, right? So team number 3, obviously team number 3 can't play itself. So to get around this, we have a Boolean equal validity where we just make sure that the home number is not equal to the away number. If they do, this is going to go to false. And you'll see where this comes into play in a little bit. So if this is true, then we're good. Same sort of thing here. So we have a limit for the number of games a team can play, right? We set that given game count. Again, remember, I go to the example where there are 8 teams and you want them playing 12 games. So 12 games is the count. So in the case where we have, say, team 1 and team 4, and team 1 has already played their maximum 12 games, then this accounts for that. So the home game count validity is we get the team from the home number. We get their schedule size, which is a method inside of team, right here, which just basically takes the size of their individual schedule, and we just make sure it's not equal to the game count. If the number of games played is the same as the number of games we want, this is going to be false. If not, it's going to be true. Same deal with the away team. All right, next test. So matchup count validity. Again, this is something that isn't necessarily going to be, for every league. Like every league, you might want, variety in your matchups. But another league might be content with just having 2 teams play each other the entire season. It's really up to that league. I mean, generally, it's 2 the teams play each other twice per season, and that's it. So let's go with that example for this. So ignore this outside if statement for now. We have a duplication index, which we start at 0. And then we have a for loop here. Again, we're ignoring the if statement for now. I'll go back to that in a minute. So the for loop is we loop through all of the games that have already been scheduled, LS's league schedule. And we loop through those, and we have this method where our same opponents, which is in the game class, which basically checks if 2 games are equal. I have essentially the same thing here, although that is for checking if the home and the away team are the same in both games. But in this scenario, the away team and the home team could be opposites. That's why I have this or, and then we have, you can look through this if you want. But effectively, all you need to know is this loop goes through each game and checks, hey, have these two teams already played each other? If so, we add 1 to the duplication index. Then it checks if the duplication index, which is the number of times these two teams have played each other, is greater than or equal to the maximum number of duplicate games, which is the maximum number teams can play each other. If that is the case, if we are over or equal to the limit, then the matchup count validity boolean here will be false. Otherwise, it's going to be true, as was already set up here, and we're going to be good. So I said to ignore this if statement earlier. I'm going to really quickly describe why I have this. So if the maximum duplicate games are 0, that means no team can play each other, right? So you just have 0 games between 2 teams can't play each other. That's not what the meaning is in my eyes. So that's what the meaning would be like for the variable. I have up here that if you don't set maximum duplicate number of games, if you don't set that up, so if you use this constructor versus this constructor, the max duplicate games is going to be 0. Which means, in this code, that it doesn't matter. That test doesn't matter. Each teams 1 and 2 can play each other the entire season, if that's what the generator calls for. All right. And then, in that case, if this generator just doesn't call for it, this entire loop is not run, and the magic count validity is true, because it doesn't matter. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is what I was working on yesterday. I'm going to get into that in a minute and show you what the issue with it is, what I think the issue with it is, and then we're going to go through some debugging. So after the program goes through all these validity counts, it says, all right, if they're all true, if we passed everything, this game is good to go, it is fair to go on the schedule. Then we add it to the league schedule, ls.add. ls, again, is the array list of games which represents the league schedule. And then we add it to each team's individual schedule. So the home team and the away team, it gets added to both of their schedules. And then we add 1 to the game scheduled counter. Now that I think about it, I don't know if this is exactly necessary, because we could just get the length of the league schedule, right? Because we could just say here, ls.size. Right. And then this just doesn't matter. And then we don't have to worry about this. That should do the same thing. That's something I overlooked that I should have seen there. And then I'll replace that here. Basically, the game scheduled is going to be the same as the schedule size. So that was an unnecessary thing to add to the loop. Just a little something to maybe save some memory. We get rid of that. If we fail and the schedule just it can't add it for whatever reason, like say for example the teams are the same, then we add 1 to the failure count, it doesn't get added, and we just go back to the loop. So the failure count is basically the number of times the schedule fails to add a matchup. The generator fails to add a matchup. And why this is important for me is sometimes I'll get into a scenario, since the numbers are randomly generated, since the schedule is randomly generated, sometimes I'll get into a scenario where at the end, only like a bunch of teams will have already met their cap of number of games, and one team hasn't. Like they've played 10, every other team has played 12, right? And the only scenario which would be like proper for the computer is to have the team play itself twice. In which case the algorithm is just going to run forever and ever and ever. It's just going to stick in that loop. The while loop is just going to go on forever. So to check for that, I have basically if this failure count gets too high, if it gets to 100,000, then we reset the league schedule. It's just a reference now to a fresh array list. And again, this right here is clearing each team's individual schedules. And we reset the failure count. And we start fresh. So again, that's just to avoid the program from stalling out. And of course, this is where we end. We return the league schedule. That's a lot. I'm going to try to condense it. Maybe put all these validity checks in a separate class and have them reference here. But all in all, that's what I've been working on with this project recently. So again, here's my main method. This is basically what I've been using for testing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set the team number to 8, and we're going to do the example, like I said, where the game count is 12. And for now, we'll just set this at false because it doesn't really work, sadly. And then we will comment this out for a minute. All right, so what this is going to do is when I run it in the command line, it's going to create an array list of teams that's 8 teams long. This is what this is basically doing, creating a new team every iteration of the loop. Each team is going to play 12 games. That's what the game count is. Maximum number of duplicate games you could have is 2 for some season. Again, that means that 2 teams can play each other a maximum of twice. I don't care about even home and away games. That's something that I need to work on. And I create the league here. And what that does when I create it, it creates the schedule in addition. And then I'll print the schedule when it's done. So we're going to go into the terminal. We're going to make the terminal full screen. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. All right, so let me go through my thing to the project. All right. And now in case you guys didn't know how to run Java projects, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably do know, or it's pretty simple to look up as well. So first you want to compile, so Java C, the source folder, main.java, I'm compiling the main class in my source folder. And then to run, you just do java source/main. And of course, we get an error on the first time we run it. Woo! What a surprise. Okay, main.java 20. Why? Why is this an issue? League.java 48. Set the league schedule. Yeah, why is that an issue? 112. Oh, so it went through the failure count, but the failure count went too high because I think its size is. So I should do that. And now this is going to work. Basically, I did less than or equal to, and it should have been less than because it's an array list and not an array. So that was my mistake. I think I did that a couple of other times too yesterday. There we go. So now this is the whole league schedule. For 8 teams, each team plays 12 games. So of course I'm not going to like sit here and be like, oh, let's look through the entire schedule because it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so there's that. And then this other code that I have here prints out each team's individual schedule. And we'll uncomment that. We'll comment out the league schedule. And we're going to run the algorithm again. It's going to create a fresh new schedule, unique from the previous one. Could be the same. Very unlikely though. Run it again. Oh, well, I need to compile again, right? Because I made a change. And now it's going to print out each individual team's schedule. So the Team 0 schedule, this is all the games that Team 0 is in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, we got 12 games here. And I don't think there's an instance where Team 0 plays another team more than twice. Could be wrong. I don't think so because that's what I wrote in the code. You can take a look though. You guys can look into this. Look into my code on GitHub. If there's an issue, let me know. But yeah. So that's my project. And now we're going to do some work on it. So let's go to league. So again, these two were the things that I was having issues with yesterday. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just in case you guys can't see. I'm not really going to need to use this all that often, so move that over. All right. So I'm gonna go through these methods in my head, sort of, or these loops sort of in my head, to see something that might have gone wrong. So Boolean home games validity. Right. So this is my. Oh, whoops. There we go. Right. So if the home and away games are going to be even, then this is going to set to 0. So that counts for that. If they are 0, then it's just going to go to true. It doesn't matter. So then this is going to set to with home teams. Number of home games scheduled is not the same as the maximum number of home games. So I don't see an issue with this. It's the same thing here, just with away. So I'm thinking there's something wrong with this method here. And that's why it's not working. So I'm gonna go to team, isn't it? Yeah, team. We're gonna go to these two methods. And I think I might know what the issue is. No. So if a counter variable is less than or equal to schedule.size, it should probably be less than, right? Because it's an array list. It's less than schedule.size. If schedule.getI, so if schedule.get some whatever value this is, .get home. So get home is the game, the home team. Can I just do dot equals this? Or does that not work? I feel like I tested this yesterday. Because if you're trying to see if it's equal to the thing that's running the loop. So you're trying to figure out if this home team is equal to this team object. And if so, you add one to the counter. and then it returns the counter. This should work. Maybe it's an issue with... Maybe with the thing here. So if we have even home and away games, and the maximum number of home games, what the game count is odd, then it's going to do integer division. So instead we want +1, right? Because like say the game count's 13. So if we're playing 13 games, we want a maximum, we want to like even out the home and away games as best we can. The maximum number of home games they're going to want to play is 7, because then you can play 6 away games. That's as close as you can get to having the two be the same. Obviously, if they're odd, you can't divide it in half. And with integer division, it's kind of weird how they cut off everything after the decimal. So in this case, we'll do 13 plus 1, which is 14 over 2, 7. And if it's 12, then we want 6. 13 over 2 is 6.5, which is integer division, which is 6. So that should work. Oh, man. Okay. So if we set this to... Oh, so I was doing the same thing yesterday. Thank you. And I don't think this ID has any purpose, because there's just a number that's applied to each team. So I don't really use it at all. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I was thinking, because when I was testing this yesterday, I was doing the exact same thing pretty much. And you go here, and it was get ID equals ID. So I thought maybe you had to have some sort of identification for the object, like maybe that would work. Because I didn't think yesterday when I was testing this out it didn't work. But I have a feeling it should. I really don't know. All right. Then we just get rid of this ID part of the constructor. Because, like, really, the team should be identified with its name. I mean, obviously, if two teams have the same name, but like, in what case would that be? In what situation would that be the case? All right, we're gonna compile this and figure out if this works. Oh well, I'm gonna start by reducing the number of games and teams. We'll do 4 teams. Teams number 1 through 4 instead of 0 through 3. A team can play the same team twice. And we'll set even home away games to true. Compile again. Java src/main. Okay. Yep, see, this doesn't work because Team 2 has 5 away games and 1 home game. So, luckily it looks as though the rest of it works, because you say you have Team 4 twice, Team 3 twice, and Team 1 twice. Again, Team 3 plays Team 1 twice, Team 2 twice, and Team 4 twice. So that works. That part of it works. It's just the home and away games don't. So again, I have it to true. So it goes to league as true. So I'm using this constructor. So ehag as true. If ehag, so if this is true, set this variable max home games equal to the game count over 2. I could just use the debugger. I don't think there is a no, there is right here. Figure out what's going on with that. I didn't think VS Code had a debugger, but I suppose it does. So again, game count over 2, which in this scenario we're having 6 games. So max home and away should be 3. Oh wait, is it because? Yeah, this is under the setup for the league. Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Okay. I have this running after we set up the league schedule. So we don't actually, like, have the Boolean here set up. So yeah, that's the issue. That's a really dumb issue. Setting up the league schedule should be the last thing we do in these constructors, because all the parameters that are coming are, like, we're going to calculate those beforehand. Because without that data, it's just going to pass by and be like, okay. Because I think when you create an integer, I wonder if you, maybe someone in chat knows this. If you create an integer, what does it, like, initialize it as in memory? Is it 0? I think it's 0. Integer initial value Java. Default value 0. Yeah. So what this means is when I create these max home games and max away games, they're going to be 0 in storage before I set anything to them in the constructor. So since this was before I set everything up here, down here I thought it was 0, and since if max home games doesn't equal 0, it just passes up this validity check. So that's dumb, but it should work now. I did it for both. See if it compiles as well. Yep, and it runs. And let's see. Team 1 plays 3 away games, 3 home games. Team 2, 3 away games, 3 home games. 3 away, 3 home. 4 3 away, 3 home. There we go. That was the problem. Let's run it a couple more times just to make sure. Create some more schedules. Yep. 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 Simplest of issues. Or the simplest of fixes, rather. It was a pretty major issue, but yep. So I think now that should work. So we're good with that. I'm going to commit that to GitHub right now. Also, I'm going to check if my... Oh wait, that's not the right scene. Whoops. I wanted to revert to... I want to do full screen my face cam, even though I look disgusting, but it's okay. Geocached device. Add source. Yes, hello! Hello, chat. How do we do? Yeah, I'm gonna check if my GitHub is linked under my Twitch. So... I'm gonna mute the site real quick just to make sure that doesn't oddly play the... No, I don't want this stream. Channel. No, it is not underneath. Hi, hello. Creator dashboard. Channel. So there should be a place down below my stream where you can see my link to my main YouTube channel, which I haven't posted on in like a year or a couple years maybe. It's been a while. And my VODs channel. They're both down in the description, or not the description, but like near where my name is. And then also there in a minute is going to be my GitHub. GitHub. GitHub.com/FisherPit116. Okay, so should be up now. So if you want to head over to my GitHub, you can take a look at that. Some of my other projects that I've done in the past. And now we're going to go back to the Just Codin. Yes, now I'm in the corner. And we're going to run through the gate commands of committing and pushing. So let me check status. Yep, git add status. Again, if you don't know any of these, that's pretty simple to learn online. And then with this command, I'm going to write a description of what I edited so that if I want to go back to this change, I can see what I changed, what I modified. So I'm going to write swapped location of, when I swap the location of schedule creation method and what was the other thing that was there? It was the and home away game limits so that the restraint is applied. Now, also remove ID system 14. Git push origin master. All right. The ID system is not necessary because the reference to the object is going to be stored in the same place in memory. So we don't need a number to specify what the object, what the team is. It'll just be the same reference. All right. What next? What next? Give me one moment. Just received a text message. Ooh, apparently my college sent that information about move-in. Finally. Okay, well, that's all squared away. Let's see any other. Oh yeah, I wanted to do some organization as far as validity tests go, so I'm gonna create a new class. It's gonna just contain static methods. New file, validity tests.java. So instead of having all of this mess, I'm just going to have it in one class and then just reference the methods in that class here. Make it cleaner. So the equal validity. Public static boolean equal validity. Parameter will just be a game. And we're gonna need to import game, aren't we? Also, we want to do import. Oh no, we don't need to import since we have the package set up. Oh no, we do. Do we? I didn't think we would need to import the game. Oh, I want to put this in the source folder. Now we don't, I think. Okay, yeah, we don't. Good. All right. So we want to return g dot get home does not return not g dot get home dot equals g dot get away. So again, two teams of the game are not the same. That's this validity test. Done. So now we can get rid of this Boolean. I'll put this in here. Team not playing itself. And then throw instead of here. Okay, this is going to be kind of chaotic. So we might just need to keep this as is. And then I'm going to return this to equal validity. And then just say Boolean equal validity equals validity test dot equal validity g. Because in this case, we just have a short line of code, and then this one line 101 just doesn't get overwhelmed with nonsense. So we just put all these names here, and we're good. All right. So home game count validity. Public static Boolean home game count validity. Game G, and then we want to also take in the parameter of the number of games maximum game count. So in this game, we want to do return g dot get home dot schedule size does not equal game count. Same deal as here. Home teams played under the number of max games. And then we can say validity test dot home game count validity g game count. It'll work, and then we can just do the same thing for our away game count validity. Or we can just place them in the same method, honestly. That might be easier because it takes in the same parameters, so. And g dot get away dot schedule size not equal game count. Then we can just condense this to being game count validity. Teams have played under the max number of games. Game count validity. All right, cool. And then matchup count validity. Again, in this scenario, it's going to need to be more than just the game. We're going to also need to include a reference to league schedule. That's array list of games. Team board array list. And then what do I do as the comment for this? Just gonna copy and paste this and deal with the errors that we get. Schedule. And instead of this having the match account validity thing, we can just return false. And then outside of this, we can just say return true. And that works. Should at least. I guess the best way to do that is test. And then we get rid of all this whole block. I can smell spaghetti from downstairs. Ah, yes, I'm excited. I think those are the parameters, right? Yep. And then in these scenarios, we just say G. Oh, and we also need the league schedule. I think, right? No, we just need the game. Oh wait, we also are going to need the parameter. Yeah, and then this. Copy that into here. Oh, right, and then we need else we can just return true, right? Because then if it's 0, it doesn't matter. Shouting about school. No, don't worry, I don't have classes or anything yet. It's just about our move-in for next semester. Ooh, I got information about that. That's always great, but my parents want to know, which I'll check after stream. Which I'm not going to be streaming for much longer, because I don't really got much else to work on. I need to sort of think a little bit off stream about some of the other parameters that I'm going to incorporate. But this is just sort of, with this, I'm just trying to reorganize my code, because it's kind of messy right now. I don't know why this, okay, there we go. That was kind of weird. Alright, code is condensed. While loop is now this big. Woo! And now all the mess is over here. Alright, let's just test. Let's do some tests, see if it works still. See if we have any new errors that sprung up because of all those changes. We'll do the same parameters. First I want to clear the console, just so that we can see this better. And it's stalled. Great. Where is this infinite loop happening? Failure count shouldn't be an issue. Probably one of these validity tests. Well, I'm gonna quit terminal. And we're gonna reopen it. And try again. Stalls out again. Right, now let's figure out what the issue is. Because it's stalling somewhere, right? So, we use the debugger. We will place markers. Wait. No, that's not what I want to run. Run this. Oh, right. Okay. I don't know if this is what the issue is, but this should be get away. Maybe this will resolve the issue. Not sure. I don't see how that would have any relation to the issue. Honestly, I don't know what the issue is at all, so. stalling out again. Terminate the terminal. Oh! Maybe it just didn't work that one time for some reason. That was weird. Bit strange. Kinda scared that that'll happen again. Oh, whoops. Why? Every time I run on this, it doesn't work. Try this again. Oh, whoops. Whoops, I accidentally mistyped there, so we're gonna try that again. I don't understand. Why does this be stalling out all the time? Oh, here's the little bumper things. Stuff here. Alright, now we will debug. Whoops, let's do that again. I don't know what I'm doing. How do I speed up the process? Alright, I'm just gonna stop this. It's taking a while. We create a breakpoint here, and then remove all these, like inside the failure count loop. And to further emphasize the fact that we want this program to run, so the failure count there to 0. Well, that worked. It works here. Oddly enough, not in terminal. Try it in the terminal again. Yeah, there we go. Just create a bunch of schedules, see if it stalls out again. Nope. we'll see if the parameters of these schedules fit what I want. Yep. Again, even home and away games. Yep, that works. That works. And that works. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Right. Yeah, these schedules look good. Looks good. Hey, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Alright. So let me commit this code, since it works. Oh, I know we have some new stuff. Validity test stuff. Get status. Condense validity tests into one specific, into a separate class for cleaner coding league class. Git push. Alright, cool. Alright. Could create the last thing I want to do. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is just running through like ideas in my brain as far as like what to, what other modifications I can make to my code in order to like make it more specific for someone who wants to use the schedule generator, like more parameters. I can't think of anything right now. I'm not sure. Oh, comp sci major. I'm going for psychology. Oh, cool. I took a intro to psych class the past semester, and it was interesting. It was fun. It was a good class to take. It was general ed. Got that knocked out. It was good. It's personally like, with psych, there's some areas that interest me. Like I feel like there could be a lot of overlap between CS and psych, where I think the main thing that I thought of when I was taking the class was, mental disabilities and how we could use sort of artificial intelligence in order to help better those like people and their conditions and learn more about them. And it also a lot of, people are going to school for computational biology. That could help a lot with that sort of thing as well. So that's just one little thing that I thought about going through, like the intro to psych class. When the main reason why I'm going into the CS is because I feel like there's a lot of real world applications to it. Not real world. That's a bad way to phrase it. It's just there's a lot of connections to other fields, and you can pretty much do anything you want with a computer program, which I think is really special and something that a lot of people could benefit from moving forward. Obviously, there are drawbacks. Obviously, not everyone wants their job taken. I'm not going to get too political, but not everyone wants their job taken away by a machine, right? There are negatives, but I think there are a lot of benefits as well. Oh, shit. My mom is calling for dinner. What? Okay, I'll be down in a minute. All right, I gotta go to dinner, guys. So that's gonna be where I wrap up for stream. Again, if you're interested, if you guys didn't catch the beginning of stream and you are interested in kind of hearing my project, yes, turned into Tommy in it with his mom calling. Anyways, so if you guys are interested in seeing what I'm doing with my project, the first I think at 15 minutes or so in this VOD, I describe what I'm doing. Jackie, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. It means a lot. So yeah, if you want to check out the first 15 minutes of my VOD, that's where I describe what I'm doing here. If you don't understand code, you probably didn't understand a lot of what I was doing, but I don't know. I hope you did enjoy me talking through it. and sort of describing my thought process. So tomorrow we're probably going to be back on Minecraft doing maybe the 1.1 run. So we'll figure that out. Dad, I know I'm coming. I know Mom told me. All right. I gotta go. Gotta go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.